Oh man, so the market has completely U-turned. It's completely flip-flopped. Bitcoin down 6.8%, Phantom down 13% completely, giving up all the great gains we saw yesterday. What is going on in the markets? Why is the market yo-yoing like this? What has happened and what should we be doing from here? What are the next levels of support and what am I doing in this market? We're going to go through all of that and a lot more in this video. Make sure you hit up the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. These videos are brought to you by our very own course member live streams. Yes, if you like my perspective, consider checking out those 3 times weekly course member live streams, ijaz.uk/member. Link is in the description. Without further ado, guys, somebody explain this to me. This is the 5-minute chart here on Bitcoin, and this is not a pretty sight. We're now sitting under 37,000, which is not great at all here on Bitcoin. And what is triggering us to go down? Well, first and foremost, this is what we need to look at. And this is the chart which is comparing Bitcoin to the S&P. And we need to look at them in side by side, because this fall to the downside was completely led by the S&P falling to the downside. We're just seeing that Bitcoin is obviously going to move faster than the S&P because it's more of a volatile asset class, but this is what triggered us to the downside. You can see our initial run to the upside when Jerome Powell was speaking, and then we've just given all of that up this morning since the market opened. Can you see this holding pattern here on Bitcoin? That was when I posted my video earlier today before the market opened. Bitcoin, as I said in that video, was just waiting for the market to open to give it some direction, but when the market did open, the direction was set. And the direction was initially set by 2 things. The first was at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time this morning, we received the jobless claims. And the jobless claims increased by 19,000 to 200,000 jobless claims. That was versus an estimate of 180K. Now, why is that important? It's important because it means that what Jerome Powell is saying in terms of the labor market being really tight and further wage gains could keep inflation high continues to be correct. He's correct with that, and this figure continues to double down on that claim, so the market is not too stoked by that. The other thing that is weighing on the tech side of the markets is the fact that eBay and Etsy yesterday provided weak guidance for Q2. So we're seeing stocks share across stocks fall for Etsy 12% down, and we saw the same for Shopify, who missed on their earnings as well. So the market's starting to think, okay, are we getting a slowdown on e-commerce, and is this just isolated to e-commerce or all of tech? So not a good time to be risk on right now, and that is why we can see crypto falling to the downside. Of course, altcoins in such an environment are going to get decimated as well. If you flick across to Phantom, we're now back down to 73-cent territory, and it's getting people worried about the idea of whether we are going to see the whale wallet Roosh start to get liquidated again. Yes, those conversations have started again. You can literally see Phantom falling as we speak here on this 5-minute chart, now sitting at 73 cents. What are the support levels? Well, we're going to cover off those support levels, but first I want to show you the whale wallet, because the whale wallet is showing us that his health score is 1.07, okay? So this is okay. Remember, this needs to fall below 1 for liquidation to start occurring. He's got a balance of 21 million Phantom, which is about $16.5 million left to be liquidated, but currently his health score is okay. But if Phantom does fall back to 65, we could see him in a little bit above her. And the question then arises, what happens? Can Phantom continue to survive it? Survive the first round of liquidations all the way from $53 million. So hopefully we'd expect it to be able to survive this set of liquidation as well. People are also worried whether the same could happen with Harry Ye's liquidations over at Tomb Finance, and whether the Phantom Foundation or other projects will come to the aid to help, right? We know Roosh here had some help from his friend Laffer over at Deuce Finance, right? Who decided to help with a loan of $2 million. Will the same happen for Harry Ye, and will the Phantom ecosystem survive this? That's something to be seen, right? You've got the health score here. If it drops below $1 here on this reading, you will start to see some liquidation. So that's one thing to keep an eye out on as well. And then the other message really is just to share this with you, right? Me disciplining you after you made a long position from a 2-hour pump. And I think this sums up the environment, really. If you were somebody that after Jerome Powell spoke and after you saw a bit of a rally, you started applying long positions, then you need to be disciplined with this spray bottle, right? That's just how it goes, because the premise is we don't chase green candles. I made that very clear on this channel. You buy into the fear, and then when it gets greedy like it was yesterday, you let it do its thing, because chances are you can always get a flash correction like we've just seen. Now the question is, what are the levels of support? What do we have in terms of support? And the first thing I want to do is I do want to head over into the 4-hourly chart, and you'll remember that the next level of support we've got back again is the 68-cent to 65-cent range, right? That's why we got a nice V-shaped bounce here on Phantom, and then the next level after that is 58. We've got 58 cents thereafter. So those are the two levels I'm considering here on Phantom. And then if we need it, 38 cents. I'm going to come on to why that may come into play. So we obviously know this is going to be based on the equities market setting a trend. If equities markets continue to sell off over the rest of today and the next few days, then Bitcoin could be playing out our bearish scenario. Now, what do I mean by the bearish scenario? If you remember, we were in this descending wedge pattern. So this violet pattern is our descending wedge, and we got our breakout just before the Fed meeting. But now look at that, we got rejected by 40,000, and we didn't just come back down for a retest, we got sent all the way back to the bottom of the wedge. So you can see that there was a little bit of support coming in at 37, but now we've fallen below 37. So 37, the horizontal line, could not even hold. Now we're right below our wedge, and if we break to the downside from this pattern, guys, if we get a clean breakdown, which we haven't yet, we're just wicking below the bottom here on our violet wedge, but if we get a clean breakdown, then the technical price target on the breakdown from this wedge goes as low as this measured move here, this purple line, which if we take the measured move, sits at about 33,000 on Bitcoin. So that is what we need to look at to the downside. Now we need the buying pressure to come back in. We need people to buy the dip to keep us in this wedge, because otherwise if we break below the wedge, retest the wedge to the upside and continue to the downside, then you could be heading towards 33. And then some of those lower price targets are going to come into play on some of your altcoins. So the question arises, what am I doing in this market, right? And the answer is quite straightforward. I'm doing nothing right now. I'm not chasing the greens, and I'm also not too fearful yet. We've seen cheaper prices than this just a couple of days ago, so I'm not too bothered. Fear and greed index is sitting at about 27. No doubt when they take another reading tomorrow, it'll be a little bit more fearful than it was today. But I'm just sitting on my hands. I'm sitting on my hands. If we see some lower price points, I'm going to jump in and buy the dip at some juicy price levels. Otherwise, I'm going to let the market play out. The market needs to decide what direction does it want to head into. It's pretty much got all the data it wants. Just needs to decide where are we heading to, and are we going to go for a rally, or do we want to consolidate around where we're at, or even head lower to 33,000 on Bitcoin? So there you have it, guys. There is an update on the markets and how we flip-flopped here in the market. Just remind you how this is the most volatile asset class, but it's not just crypto doing this, right? This is led by the stock market, and it's important we understand how these different elements can affect our crypto positions, because otherwise we're trading, we're investing in the dark, and that's not what we want to do. As always, guys, if you appreciate this content, smash up the like and subscribe. If you'd like my perspective, consider checking out our course member live stream, ijaz.uk/member. What I'm going to do at the end of this video, I'm going to link up the interview to Simone Pomposi, the CMO of Phantom. Make sure you go and watch that, guys. And also, I'm super thrilled to announce that we have managed to land Michael Kong, yes, the CEO of Phantom, to come onto this channel and give us an interview next week. So jump into the Discord. That's going to be in the pinned comment below, and put your question to Michael Kong. I'm not going to be asking Michael any questions just from me. I want to curate the best questions from the Phantom community. So get into the Discord, post your best and favorite question which you want posted to Michael Kong, and the most upvoted questions are what we will put to Michael Kong next week when he jumps onto the show. So definitely jump into the Discord, let me know what kind of questions you want asking, and we'll get those put to Michael next week. As always, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.